Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Conflict Counselor. I'm your host, Chris Capocia. Well, we've made it to episode 10, and I thank you for joining me on this journey. You've heard me describe myself as an attorney mediator. We all know what an attorney is, but what a mediator is may be a little less clear. A mediator is simply a neutral person who helps parties in conflict negotiate a settlement of their dispute. And the meeting in which this assisted negotiation occurs, with the parties and the mediator in attendance, is called mediation. In the Conflict Counselor, I help my listeners prevent disputes and navigate conflict by sharing the lessons I've learned as a mediator and attorney. Here are some other things to know about mediation. Mediation is available for pre-lawsuit disputes by way of community mediation programs and private mediators. Fees range from nominal to several $100s per hour. Mediation is typically court-ordered in civil lawsuits, that is, suits for money damages. The parties in mediation are encouraged but not required to reach a settlement. All mediation communications are confidential and may not be disclosed except by court order. A mediation settlement agreement between the parties is the equivalent of a contract and is enforceable in court. If mediation does not achieve a settlement, the case proceeds as usual through the court system. And a couple things to note about mediators. Mediators are trained and certified per state requirements. A license to practice law is not required to serve as a mediator. Mediators do not represent either party and do not decide the outcome of a case. Okay, that covers the more procedural aspects of mediation. But what I'd really like to share with you is sort of the philosophy of mediation. Mediation is premised on the idea that it is better for parties in conflict to fashion their own remedy rather than have a remedy imposed on them by a judge. Why? Because the parties know their needs better than a judge and will strive, with the mediator's help, to negotiate an outcome that is certain and that will satisfy their needs as much as possible. This mediated settlement is superior to an uncertain outcome dictated by a judge, which may or may not satisfy the needs of both parties. So, that's the short version of what mediation is all about. I hope you found it helpful. In future episodes of the Conflict Counselor, we'll discuss in detail the advantages and some possible drawbacks of mediation. Until then, keep mediation in mind as a practical and effective way to settle disputes. If you have questions about mediation or any other matter, feel free to reach out. Next time on the Conflict Counselor, we'll talk about why the person you're about to have a dispute with is right, even if they're wrong. We'll explain that conundrum. Don't forget to follow the Conflict Counselor on your favorite platform. And thanks for listening.